Thank you guys so much for being at our Talking Sense Worthington event. I'm super surprised by the weather. I feel like that came out of nowhere, so I'm glad that and the road construction didn't deter you from coming downtown. My name is Catherine Richert. I'm a reporter with Minnesota Public Radio. I'm actually based in Rochester, so drove from the other side of the state today to be here. And this year, I am leading our Talking Sense reporting project. And Talking Sense is really an effort to explore the things that are polarizing us in our communities and in our families, with our neighbors, but also a whole program we're doing in conjunction with Braver Angels to help people talk about the issues that might seem really hard to talk about in a moment where everything feels a little charged. Tonight's event is one of the workshops we've been doing around the state, and I'm very grateful to have Braver Angels co-founder Bill Doherty with us here tonight. He was a partner early on when I had this crazy idea over a year ago, and he and his colleagues at Braver Angels have been with us every step of the way, so it's been really great to partner with you on this. He's going to be leading tonight's event, and this event is really designed for your community and for you. And we're drawing on the Braver Angels model of using stories to create connection and empathy. And Bill has created a set of questions that will help you share stories about a topic that is dominating the headlines right now, and that is immigration. And I know this is a subject that's really familiar to this community and one that you guys know is all far more complex and nuanced than what the headlines might suggest on a day-to-day basis. So we're really excited to hear all of your stories about how immigration has affected your community and your life here. A couple of housekeeping items before we get started. The first is that you see these microphones at the tables. You don't have to do anything to them. Later in the program, myself and my colleagues from MPR will come around and we'll fiddle with them and make sure they're working correctly. But for now, don't worry about it. The second thing is that after the first part of the program, you guys will be pairing up. We'll give you the cue to do that. And you'll see a number of folks from MPR here. It's myself, Catherine. We've got Annie Baxter, who's in the red shirt back there. She's the editor for Talking Sense. We have Lorna Benson, who is taking some pictures. She's our deputy managing editor, both for the politics team, but also the regional team, which is the group of reporters like myself who are based in greater Minnesota, and including in Worthington. We have a bureau here. And lastly, we also have Nicole Johnson from our team who's going to be taking pictures as well. And then we have Derek and Tom who will be kind of running the sound and the recording throughout the night. So that's who we are. And without further ado, I'll pass it off to Bill here.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Okay, this is going to be participatory, so everybody spoke by saying good evening. I'd like to thank the local weather people for that storm here. I'm from Roseville, and the first time I've been to Worthington, I was looking forward to and really happy to be here. And I'm also with the University of Minnesota and Braver Angels, which is helping to facilitate these conversations. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to interview two folks up here, asking them the same questions that you will talk with each other about. So you'll get a chance to hear two people answer some questions about their stories, experiences, and then after that, then you'll get paired up. So the tables of four, it'll be two, and so everyone will be paired, just two of you at a table. And we'll show you the questions, which you already will know because you'll hear them up here, okay? And then you'll have a conversation. And it'll be recorded in little snippets. I don't know if any of you have been recorded for radio or TV, but sometimes if you have 15 seconds of what you said for an hour, and then for them that's a long time. So, and then during that time, I'll sort of help you stay on track. I'll be describing this again. So, interview up here. Same questions you're going to talk with each other about, and you'll have the questions right in front of you. And then when we finish up, just a general conversation with a question of what are you taking with you from our time here. And so this room is with people whose families have been here for some time, and people whose families are more recent. That's the goal. That was the idea, okay? And to pair up and to share stories, and to be able to talk about what's been good about being here, what the challenges are. So you'll see all that in the questions. So now I would like you to greet our first pair, Riley Widboom and Eligio Ramirez. Come on up. A little applause for them. Give them some love. Give them some love. They're willing to go first. There we go. All right. Okay. So we're going to just start out. They have the questions in front. No surprises here tonight. All in writing. Okay. And let's get the microphones right in front of us. Okay. There we go. And then Tom, if we're messing up here with the mics, you'll just run up and help us with that. Okay, so gentlemen, just want you to introduce yourselves. And let's look at, forget them. It's just the three of us. You're nice people, but we're going to be talking here just ourselves. So don't look out there. Just we're a group, okay? But don't ignore me in the. So look at me too. Okay. Jeez, I drove a long way. Okay. So introductions. So your name, what you do in the community, work, raise kids, whatever, and how long your family has lived in this community. So do you want to start, Eligio?
Hi, my name is Eligio Ramirez. I am from Guatemala. I raised and born in the highest mountain in Guatemala. It's a poor community, and I'm married. I have 3 kids, 2 boys and 1 girl. I came here since 2006 in the United States, and then in Worthington in 2007.
Okay.
And I'm working at Head Start. I started working in the classroom as a teacher, and during the pandemic, due to short bus driver, I went to get my driver license, and I'm bus driver now. And I'm working with different organizations in Worthington, especially at St. Mary's Church with Hispanic Knights of Columbus, and I was part of a board member of Love Inc. Organization in Worthington, and try to get information about the resources in Worthington.
Wonderful. You said beforehand that English is your 3rd language.
Yeah. So my first language is Mayan language. It calls Mom in Guatemala. Then when I was 13 years old, I started learning Spanish. And then when I moved here, I started learning English by myself. I never have teacher to learn English.
You're more than bilingual. You're trilingual. Yes. Okay, so Riley, how about you? Name, what you do in the community, and so on.
Yep. So I'm Riley Widboom. I grew up here in Worthington. I graduated from high school here in Worthington, class of 2022. So I'm 20 years old. I just started a job as a realtor at Johnson Builders and Realty. And I've been helping my dad on a farm my whole life. We live out on a farm just north of Worthington. We raise cattle, corn, and soybeans. And I've got 3 siblings, and I'm currently still living with my family. So yeah, I enjoy helping my family out on the farm. Always been enjoying outside, and then kind of getting into the community more with my new job. Meeting a lot of new people, learning a lot of things. This has been my first month, and I just got my first sale closed today.
All right.
I was pretty excited about that. So I was pretty excited about that.
Closed today.
Yeah.
Huh?
So that's been fun. But yeah, I've always been involved in the community and been a part of different organizations and clubs and stuff like that, and was excited to try out a new opportunity and check this out. So happy to be here.
All right. Well, that's the next question then. Why did you each accept the invitation to be part of this conversation? And I'll let you go first this time.
Good. Yeah. So John Stewart actually texted me or called me when I just started at the office, someone said, "Do you have a call?" And I thought, "Whoa, I got a call already."
I
was
money.
Bummed, but
it was just John.
The first thing he said was, "This is not real estate related." So it didn't really get me started off super excited, but yeah, and that was in May, so I thought July 10 is a long ways away, so I never really thought about it, but. Yeah, he kind of gave me a brief description, and I've always, we live in such a unique community, and it's I think it's good to acknowledge that and be a part of that. And when John kind of described what tonight was going to be like, I thought this would be a good way to get out there a little more and meet all different types of people that live here in Worthington. We live in a bigger city, people growing up in Worthington, I feel like I know quite a few people, but we're in such a big community where there's a lot of people I don't know. So I was kind of excited to try this out and be a good way to meet new people and find out about everybody's stories that live here in the community.
Great. Well, all right. And Eligio, why did you accept the invitation?
It was the same. John called me.
So John is the...
Yeah, but I think Colleen referred me to John,
okay.
Colleen Benz. And I accept this invitation because I want to advocate for all the peoples. It's nice to know more peoples and change their mind. I learned this one from my dad, and he always taught us to do the best wherever we go. He always taught us, make that community your community. Do the best for your community. So the most valued thing is not the money, it's your time that you spend to help each other. So this is a good opportunity to get information and how to spread that information to our community. Because a lot of people, they want to find information, but due to the lack of language, or they're afraid. So I want to be their voice, and I want to show them, don't be scared. So we're here, and a lot of people, they can advocate for us. So that's why I came over here, to meet more people and expand our knowledge about just not in Worthington, so the whole state.
So you both accepted the invitation to expand your network, and also in your case to sort of show the way for people who may feel a little
I think
shy.
the best part, it's more for my kids. I have my daughter, I left her in Guatemala when she was 7 months.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's hard. Yeah.
Sorry.
Sure. No, it's important to you.
Sorry, I don't want to talk about it. Sorry. She came when she was 12 years old, and she always complained, it's hard, the school over here for me, because the language, because I don't know English, nobody understands me, I cannot understand them.
Yeah.
But I told her, I will show you, we can do it. I will learn English. And so I do this one not just for the Hispanic or the immigrant communities, it's because my kids also, I want to show them we can do it.
We can do it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we'll start with you on this one, the third one, how your family came here, and how you and your family, Eligio. Tell us something about how your family came to be part of this community. What's the story of how you ended up here?
As I told you before, I grew up in Guatemala, so there is a big barrier over there due to the language. The racism is everywhere, and I am a Mayan, so there is two type of community over there, the Mayan and Latinos, the Ladinos. It's a group that only speak Spanish. So they have everything over there in Guatemala. They controlling everything, the government controlling everything. So because my family and I speak Mayan language, we don't have opportunity. We're lack of opportunity. Even you can do it, but you are lacked from the government. So I decided to go to school. Since I was little, my dream was to be a teacher. I know the teacher has less payment than the other ones. But that was my dream because the teacher in Guatemala, it's kind of an advocate for the community. They spend time to get the resources to the community, water, electricity, roads, schools, everything. So that's why I decided to be the teacher. And I went to school. I graduated in high school. I started learning Spanish when I was 13 years old by myself. I read a lot. And then finally I get my kind of teacher certificate over there in Guatemala is when you reach the high school over here. And I was ready to work. So I did the open house in that community. But on that date, it was the election date. So you have to support a politician over there to get the job. If you don't support them, they will not give you the job.
Okay.
So I done with my open house on Sunday night, and then that day was election. So the politician who win that time, my family didn't support them. So on Monday they came and they said, you don't get the job because you didn't support us. So we will give another person job. And I have my little daughter, 7 months old. So I have no opportunity. So I decide to risk myself to come to United States. And then I came in Delaware. I started working over there, but the situation at that time was hard. So I moved to Worthington. When I came in Worthington in 2007, it was a big challenge. And due to the lack of language, And then my wife came, so we started working in the factory. And so after 12 years, my daughter came here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. And so Riley, how did your family come here?
So I'm the fourth generation of my family that has been in this area. My great-grandpa came here. He was from the Curry-Slayton area where he grew up, and then he came here for work and was looking for a farmer to work for, and found a farmer and started working for him, and then eventually had an opportunity to kind of start his own farm, and that's where we live today. So he eventually kept growing, and then my grandpa took over the farm, and then my dad, and it's kind of been compared to a lot of people's stories, pretty easy for me, I guess, to be in the community. Haven't really faced a lot of challenges, and I know that's a later question as well too. But I've always, growing up, my dad has been super involved in the community, and my mom and family, and so that's always kind of been something that I've been involved in too, and a lot of different ways to meet, people in our community, and so.
Do you know the date, the year that you're...
In the mid-30s was when my grandpa great-grandpa came to Worthington area, but then it was a little longer yet until he had an established farm.
Yeah.
So we always go back and forth of when our 100-year farm anniversary will be.
You can have
my dad tries to say 1930, so we can get it done soon, but my grandpa argues it's not until we owned our first piece of land. So can't tell you the exact date, but in those 30s is when we came to Worthington.
And in those family stories, do you know why Worthington as opposed to somewhere else?
Yeah, I think it was kind of a family connection. Wass was the last name of the guy that my great-grandpa started kind of farming for, and so there was kind of a family connection there, and somebody said, why don't you go check out him? And so he kind of came by himself and grew a family here in Worthington.
Yeah, okay. So now we're going to, follow-up question, having listened to each other, what did you learn about the other person's experience, the family experience of coming here, and did you see anything in common? Your experience is very different, but is there anything you see in common? Do you want to?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, what a story, and I know there's a lot of people in our story and in our community that kind of have that similar story, and kind of one similarity, I guess, that maybe a lot of people have of why their families came to Worthington was a place to work, looking for a job, and which is a great thing for our community. I think a lot of people come here for a job, and then the hope is they stay for more, So that's kind of something, I guess, that I would take, is that we both, it was him that actually came to look for the job, but in my case it was my great grandpa, and hopefully they stayed for the right reasons, and yeah.
Okay. How about you, Eligio? What did you learn from his experience, and did you say anything in common?
What I learned is that it's his family are immigrant also. And I learned that he wants to do the best for the community. He wants to meet people. He wants to work for the community. So I want to do the best. And the common things that we have, our family are immigrants. So we all are immigrants, to be in this place.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the next two questions are, what's the good part of being here, and then what are the challenges? So, Eligio, we'll have you start. What's been the best parts of living in this community for you and your family?
I have opportunity to work, in the place where I was dreaming when I was a child, I started working at Head Start. They gave me opportunity over there, and I was a lead teacher for
Yeah.
4 years. I just got my early childhood certificate last December and graduated this May.
All right.
Thank you. And my family, my kids, has the opportunity to go to school, I think everybody, I got my house, I buy my house over here also. So I think it's the best things that I have to live in here in Worthington. Yeah. I live in Delaware, as I told you, so it's more hard over there. It's more expensive. They pay you less, and to live it's more expensive. So when I moved here in Worthington, they pay more, and it's cheaper than over there. So it's good community. I like this place for my family and my kids.
And how about for you, Riley? The best parts?
Yeah, kind of the same things. We keep saying community, I guess, that's the theme, but I guess that's kind of why we're all here tonight, to come together as a community. And I think, and I don't know, but I think there's a lot of places in Midwest that don't do this. A lot of communities, everybody kind of does their own thing and stays in their own lane. But I think it's really cool how Worthington does all sorts of different things to get together, like the International Festival coming up, different things like that, where we all celebrate from where we all came from a different background, and to celebrate that is pretty cool. So I'd say that's a plus for me, being a part of this community. And growing up in Worthington, I would say, I've always kind of been familiar with the diverse community. In the early 2000s, I'd say, is kind of when Worthington kind of started to get that diverse, all different sorts of backgrounds coming to the community. So it's not like, for maybe my grandpa or somebody like that who has seen the change from different types of population. I've always kind of been used to that diverse community, and it's something that I think we need to celebrate, and I think we do a good job at celebrating, and definitely a plus for me. And one of my favorite things to be a part of the community is our diverse backgrounds that we all have here.
Okay. So next question then. The follow-up is, what did you learn from listening to each other's stories about what's good here, and did you see anything in common? You want to start?
Yeah, I think we kind of, it's kind of cool already hearing our answers. We both have different, different answers, but kind of the same theme. And I learned for Eligio, that he kind of had more the opportunities on the work side of things, and that he has enjoyed a lot of opportunity here in Worthington, and being here, almost 20 years, which is great. Like you say, you hope to come for one thing and then stay for more, and I think I hope that he's found that, and it's kind of hearing from his reasonings that he has. So I'm glad to hear that.
And how about for you? What you learned and what's in common?
So I think that we learn is that he knows that we have a, how do you say, diversity?
Diversity, sure.
Mm-hmm. And I think we have the common. When I started working at Head Start, we have the multicultural stuff, and I met like Laos people, Asian, African, and all are very kind people. So we enjoy to share our story with them, and we can change Worthington. We can change the people thought to be better, to do to work all together. We can change this place.
Okay. Well, that's a good segue to the next question, which is about the hard part. No community is perfect. No family has completely smooth ride anywhere. And so what challenges have you and your family experienced from either being newer or more been here longer in a community that's changed a lot? Mm-hmm. Okay. So challenges, the hard part.
The language. The first thing when I came over here, and I have a fun story, I think I share with some people that I met before. When I moved here to Worthington, I didn't know English, nothing, And in Guatemala, you can go to the restaurant and you just ask, I want food and this kind, and they serve to you and you eat. So when I came over here, one day my wife said, let's go order something in McDonald's. Okay, let's go. And I stop over there, and they ask maybe what number. I just point to whatever number over there, and then they start asking, like, what size, or meal, or sandwich, or cheese, no cheese, onion, and
you want fries with that?
Fries and everything. I think I just say yes, and and then I think the last question is dine in or carry out. I may say carry out. They serve in a bag, and then we start looking at a table where to sit, and I saw the lady's face over there. She just laughed. And then we start eating, and nobody likes the food what we order. Since that time.
So the language and the food, right? Yeah.
Since that time, my wife refused to stop at McDonald's. She said, "No, I don't like the food over there." And this was the first part. It's the funny part. But transportation. We didn't know anybody. Mm-hmm. When we moved here, all the factory only had first shift, not second shift, not third shift, so everybody was working. And when I moved here, I went to live in a parking lot. The old trailer parking lot was over here. They removed due to the road 60. Yeah.
So you lived in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I came over there. We have no money. We don't know anybody. My wife just had an eye surgery in Delaware when we came over here. And even we didn't know where Walmart was, where the laundry, everything. So my wife cooked for 15 people over there just to get food from them to pay the rent. So it was hard, When I heard some people make these comments, why the people, they like to live, a lot of them in a rent. They don't know their story behind. They have to know the people first before make a judgment, And then the second thing was to get a job, how to apply, where to go, how to fill it out an application, because everything was in English, or still in English. So some people, they do for you, but they charge just to fill out the application like $25, $30. So in that time it was expensive.
And they charge you for
To fill it out the application.
fill it out.
But you never know if you will get the job.
Okay.
So if you have to fill it out 5 different applications to different places, you have to spend a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
So it was hard for us on that time, and I faces the racism also. I live over there by the lake, and I had a neighbor every day when we sat on the porch and just start talking with my wife, or even just to do a picnic on the backyard. He and Dad and his son always came out watering plants, and they start yelling to us and using bad words, and they told us, go back to your country, and they just a lot of bad words.
Yeah.
And even they call the police without reason. You know, and the time we just surprised when the police arrived at the rent, and he started asking something. We have no idea what to ask because no English.
Yeah.
But after he saw we not do nothing, we just have picnic, and so the police left. But a lot of times it was hard. So that's why I moved from that street to different place. So to get the job, to get the right transportation, to get information for the resources, you know, once I learned that we have a lot of opportunity over here, but we was lack of information. Nobody gave us the information. So, and plus, when we came, you know, when I came from my country, we came with a big debt. You know, we got money from friends over there, but they asked for a land title or something, property titles. So we have to pay back with the highest interest. So it's really hard. So that's a challenge that I face. So that's why I try to get in so many organizations to help people not to face the same challenge or to have same experience that I have.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so Riley, the hard part, the challenges, and I realize that, you know, you individually may have not experienced them all, but you're part of 4 generations here, and it can be challenging for people who have been around for a while to have a lot of changes. So just anything you want to say about the hard part?
Yeah, definitely. I think in everybody's journey, everyone has different challenges, and I'd say more on the ag side of things, that there's always challenge. From my great-grandpa trying to start a farm, on his own, there's kind of a sense of pride that you have, to try and own your own farm. And so just kind of hearing some stories of how he tried to, make a name for himself in the farm world. And then almost the pressure on my grandpa for, carrying that and, not failing. Failing is always a scary thing, and in different the farm crisis in the 80s and different things like that, there was a lot of pressure to not go under. And then the same thing with my dad, and I'm sure my brothers and I will feel that pressure sometime too. So I'd say that's kind of always a challenge when you're carrying any family business or family farm. You never want to disappoint those people that started it up before you. And then, I think also, for older people or in my grandpa's case, or, anybody that has grew up in this community as a way different way than it is now, may, have different challenges and opinions like that. Some people aren't very open to change, and it can be in all different sorts of things, but I think that is kind of the main reason why some people might not be as proud of our community as they should. Maybe that's not the best word, but just because I think a lot of people fear change, and if you look at Worthington maybe 30 years ago, I mean even less than that, it's been a lot of change. So I'd say that's kind of some struggles that I think a lot of people that grew up in this town maybe have faced. maybe for me, I grew up going to a Christian school here in Worthington, a private school with my 8th grade class was 8 people. And then I went to the high school and our graduating class was 200 plus people. So that's always a change, you know. I always knew our diverse community just being involved, but you don't really know that until you get packed in a school full of almost 1,000 kids. So that was definitely a change, getting used to all those people and learning, making new friends that have a lot different backgrounds than I do, and learning about that and being open and understanding that everybody has a different background, I guess.
Yeah, okay. And so what did you learn about the other person's experience, and did you see anything in common? Let you start. What did you learn and what did you see in common?
So what I learned from him, even I think he had more easier life over here because he always talking about his grandpa and grandma. But I learned from him he wants to accept all the people over here. He wants to accept everybody. He wants to support them, and especially he said now he's a realtor, right? So he will work with the diversity people, you know.
Yeah.
And what I learned more from him is he said like when he went to school only eight kids, you know. In my classroom, I think we was like 40 or 60. And what's the common? Now we have the opportunity to work together, you know, to change the people's minds, the people's thought.
Okay.
Yeah, something, I mean, that you don't really think about, I guess, kind of what you brought up is not knowing where the grocery store is and laundromat and all that. You know, growing up here, you don't really think, I mean, people thinking like that, you know, you just grew up knowing where everything was, and I just kind of makes you think, yeah, there are people that move to town and all they know is that they have a job, right, or at least a place to live, and so that's definitely something that kind of has made me think a little more, that I couldn't imagine the challenges of kind of getting used to everything in the town, and because you just think to drive down the town and, well, there's the Walmart, we know what that is, and we know what a Big Mac is at McDonald's, but I mean, so that's definitely something that, yeah, I've never really thought about, is kind of understanding, you know, what this community, what the town had to offer, and something that maybe we have in common is that now we both know our communities now, and that we celebrate, I think, our differences, kind of like what you were saying, and I think it's really cool how, you know, some people in your shoes might turn bitter and kind of, you know, feel I had it rough, and so anyone in my place should have it rough too, because I think a lot of people kind of get a hard heart and they feel that way, that if I had to struggle, everyone else has to struggle too. But I think it's pretty cool how you said, you know, that you want to have everyone else that might be in your shoes have a better life because what you had to do, and hope to, you know, share, you know, help someone in your shoes so they don't have to go through what you had to go through. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay, all right. So last question, and then we'll be wrapping up with what this has been like for you to talk to each other. But so the second to the last question, how can people work together to create a Worthington community where everyone can flourish and feel accepted? How can people work together? So you want to start on
Sure. Yeah. I'd say, you know, something like this is a great way. I mean, just looking out in the crowd, I see people of all different occupations, people that I've known my whole life and others that I just met today. And so I think this is a super cool way to, you know, an easy way to do that is just get people acclimated with each other. And yeah, I think our community does do a good job of celebrating our differences. And, you know, there's always room to improve, but ways like the International Fest and things like that. And I think our community does a good job at connecting through food. Celebrating everybody's different delicious foods is a good way to do that. And but yeah, I think we do a good job, and we need to keep events like this and keep sharing each other's stories. It's easy, first impressions for someone to kind of form an opinion on another person without getting to know them. Mm-hmm. So I think it's pretty important that we hear each other's stories. Hearing Eligio's story now is just eye-opening to kind of really makes you think before you form an opinion on someone. And I think that's definitely something that everybody needs to kind of think about and take.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so how can people work together?
So first we need to understand we all are human. And it's nice to hear the people's story, where their family come from. So once we learn where our family come from, we will understand all the immigrants, because when I went the Faces of Worthington, I learned that when everybody starts sharing their story, where their family story, and they always says, "Oh, my great grandpa came from Europe, mm-hmm. or any country from Europe or everywhere." So I thought on that, and I said maybe my great grandchildren will tell their story, and they will say my great grandpa came from Guatemala, So we have to understand, and also we need to be open, We have to meet the people first. We have to understand everybody. As I told before judge them, we have to ask, because ask is the best way to meet people, to learn their story. If we just imagine that, so we never will know their story. Mm-hmm. So we need to ask, and we have to create event like this one. We have to lead, and we have to change people's thought. Because when I heard some people said bad things about somebody, so I told them, ask him first. Mm-hmm. Ask him first. So you need to meet him. You need to know him. Is that the best way, And we have to include everybody, because I think it's the most important part, to include everybody. An event like this takes everybody to invite us, so that way we raise our voice. We have to advocate for everybody, and we have to spend our time. I always say that if you don't spend your time, you cannot help people, because it's easy for us just say, I will give money, mm-hmm. but you will not learn about the community. So spend your time. It's nice to have meeting with leadership of the community, and take that information and spread the information out there. It's the best way, like the international festival. Come to join it, and you will learn. You will take something from it. Mm-hmm.
Well, last question before we move to the other pairs is, what are you taking with you from this conversation you've had with each other? Either of you can go.
Okay. Yeah. Kind of like what we just said, the last question. Kind of now I have more of an idea of what people go through. You hear stories all the time of how people come from different countries, and but it's good to hear an actual someone in this community's story of how they got here, and now I feel a little more understanding of how people feel. Like you said before, as just a few weeks into my job, I've had to work with people that might not understand English the best, and I'm going to look at it more of I don't understand them the best, because we all there's no right language to have, and so just kind of hearing your side of the story, it kind of opens my eyes a little more to be like, well, maybe I should be trying harder to understand them instead of feeling that they should try and understand me. So I'd say that's kind of the main thing is that we're celebrating everybody's backgrounds, and because of this, I have a little more idea of the struggles that people had gone through, and And it's good to hear those stories before you judge, like you were saying. And so this was a very exciting thing. I didn't know what to expect when John called me, and I knew it wasn't anything real estate, but he made sure to really rub that in. But I'm glad I said yes, and so I'm happy to be here, and I thank you guys for asking me to be up here. And
I think he owes you some real estate.
Yes, right.
So, Eligio, what are you taking with you?
So to have more confidence, it was one of the challenges when I came over here, to have confidence on the peoples. And once I met leadership from Worthington, I understand that there is a lot of people to be open, to be ready to help us, and we don't just have to stay inside the four walls. You can go out there, and I can bring those information to my community and let them know there is people over there. They support us, they advocate for us, and thanks everybody to come. And you, for example, you are open to listen to us, to understand, and this is our community, This is our community, so we have to work for this community. I never said, I'm from Guatemala and I just will support Guatemala. No, this is my community because my kids born over here, they were raised over here, so I have to work for them. I have to think on their future. Their future are here. So what I have to do for them, even I will not enjoy what I will working for, but I know my kids, they will do as he's doing over here, so. Yeah.
Well, I feel inspired by both of you, and let's give them some love. Wow. So we're going to, you're going to have the same kind of conversation without me reading the questions, but you can see how little I did. I just can read. But you'll have the same conversations in pairs. And so what we're going to do is John and others are going to pair you up now. You have the questions in front of you. And just think about going through the questions, the four major ones after the introductions, and taking around 35 minutes to give you an idea, of 6 minutes or so, 7 minutes a question. And at various points, I will be timing and saying, if you haven't moved on, this would be a good time to move on, okay? Because it would be good to get to all of the questions. And make sure when you ask the questions, and it'd be good to take turns as we did up here, make sure after each of them you ask that follow-up. What did you learn about the other person from their story, and did you say anything in common? Okay, so that's the key. You're going to be sharing some things, and then pause afterwards and say, what did you learn? Did you say anything in common? Just like we did up here. Are there any questions about what you'll be doing? Anybody have any questions? Occasionally, I will be taking the mic and saying, keep moving on, okay? Because we want to make sure you get to all of them.
Bill, did you remind everyone to say their first and last name into the microphone?
I think they did that. All right, so, and then afterwards, we'll just finish up with the question of something you're taking with you from our time here. So we'll do a little wrap up of the whole group. But the last question for each of you, you'll see the last one is sharing any appreciation you have for the conversation. Everybody ready? So let's say, yes, I'm ready. Yes. A little louder, please. Yes, I am ready. Go. That's good. All right, well, a little noisy here, folks. Anyway, we're just going to spend a few minutes just inviting people who would like to say something you're taking with you from this experience, just like we did with our pair. So, and we have a microphone so who would like to?
I am the microphone.
That's right. So who would like to just share something about what you're taking with you from our time here this evening. Go for it. And tell us who you are, too.
Hi, my name is Cristina Adame, and I was taking some notes during the whole presentation, so I have a lot of things to say.
Okay, could you do it in about...
And I love to talk, so...
Could you do it in about 90 seconds?
I will.
Okay.
Perfect. So, something that I really learned today is that we are all humans. We have some challenges, different ones, hard ones, easy ones, but at the end, it's the stories that build communities. And that's the beauty about diversity. This is a land of God. It's no one else's. So we are all welcome here. No one can tell us that this is not our country. Mm-hmm. And we're building this country together. Be open to stories and be open to hear from someone else. Try different cultures. That's what it is, diversity, and you have to be glad to be in a place like Worthington, that you can try all these different cultures with your neighbor. It's as simple as 2 steps and going to meet your neighbor. All the colors have a meaning. Let's discover them, let's learn more about them. Or maybe we can be more like dogs and just be colorblind and just be treating people like humans,
wow.
How we are.
Beautiful.
Yep.
A little applause for that. Thank you. And you, I think you kept to 90 seconds too, which is pretty good. Because I was prepared to. Okay. So somebody else would like to just say, it doesn't have to be a whole bunch of profound points. It can just be anything you want to say about what you're taking with you. Go for it.
I just...
your name is, yeah.
My name, Maria Conchita Paez Iber. I just think that we all have a backpack mm-hmm. with all our meanings. We carry that with us anywhere we go. Mm-hmm. So I think that we need to first meet the person and understand the situation. There is good and bad people anywhere, mm-hmm. everywhere, and no matter who you are. So I think that diversity is a wonderful thing. Not because I'm from Mexico, but if you learn from each other, you will learn better cultures, good food, good people.
Yeah.
You will learn that. Go to the festival this weekend. So you will learn all of those things.
Wonderful.
My name is Mike Woll. I learned that Conchita and I have a lot in common with mm-hmm. kids and family and backgrounds, but also that just asking a simple question begins a conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful. A couple more folks who would like to go next. This part of the room is dominating up here, by the way, so get
I'm going to stand over here.
Yes. Did you want to go? Yeah.
My name is Lori Dudley, and I'm just to say quick that I'm going to take a friendship home with me with Lucio, or at least I want to visit his church and know more about his family, and it's just been a delight in, 30 minutes to get to know his story.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, that's a nice note to end on, friendship. Yeah. Okay, so you want to take us out?
I'll just stand right here. Again, thank you so much for coming tonight. I didn't get to hear all of these stories, but I look forward to listening to the recordings of what you guys talked about. I got to hang out with Luz and Art back there, and Luz told a great story. I think she deserves an award, because the reason she wanted to come to Worthington to join her husband here was because she saw pictures of frozen lakes on which you can drive cars. And I'm just thinking, I think you might be the only person who moved to Minnesota because of our winter weather. So we're thrilled to have you. Thank you for coming. No, really, I mean, this has been really special. I just think as a reporter, stories are so important to what we do every day, and we have deadlines we have to meet, and sometimes it's really hard to actually ask good questions and really listen to people. And this whole project has sort of challenged me to just take a beat, slow down a little bit, and do a better job of really understanding the nuances in people's stories, because I think once you are able to really hear people, it builds a level of empathy too that I hope shows in our reporting at MPR. So we take that really seriously, and this has just been a delight to meet everyone and to everyone's stories. So on your badge, there's a QR code here, and this will take you to a special webpage that will have two links on it. One is for Braver Angels. So if you guys want to learn more about Braver Angels in your community in Worthington, which I believe, John, you've been trying to get more going here. You can learn more about that. They have a ton of resources online. I don't want to be the authority on that, but lots of different workshops and tips and videos and that sort of thing that help people talk across all sorts of issues, not just the one we've been discussing tonight. The other link will take you to the MPR News website, where you can find all of the reporting we've done for our Talking Sense project, and also all of the workshops that we've done so far with Braver Angels. There will eventually be some version of tonight's event online that you can listen to and watch as well. So anyway, thank you so much for coming, and stay in touch. Yes, go ahead.
Can I plug one announcement?
Yeah, please, here.
So we would like to welcome you to the Nobles County Heritage Center. And so this was recently renovated, and what I want to tell you about what's in the plans, and we are going to be applying to the State Historical Society for $280,000 in legacy funds, because we have a $500,000, 1,900 square foot immigration exhibit plan that's already ready to go. And it's going to be telling all about the immigration stories, all the way from the settlers back in the 1870s. So Riley, we would have maybe some of his grandparents or great-grandparents. We're telling those stories, and then we're also telling the stories of the current immigrants, and just to show how they all share the same migration journey. And that is, so we want you to be looking for it. So if we are successful in getting that grant, we hope that starting in January, we will be putting that immigration exhibit, and it'll be in the northwest corner here of the Heritage Center. And hopefully we'll have people ready to come in about a year from this next November, December. That exhibit hopefully will be up and running. So, and we're excited to tell these stories, and we're hoping that immigration exhibit will lend itself to having more programming where we bring people from the different cultures and they come in here and they share their culture, but also where we talk about the tough stories about immigration. And we have immigration attorneys come in and talk about the waiting list and all those kinds of things. And those are all the stories and the conversations that we want to have. So we're excited about that. We want you to look forward to seeing it, because we're going to get it done.
And NPR will be there to cover it when it's open. So there you go.
Let's give ourselves a round of applause here. Yes.